Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Covington City Council meeting for Tuesday, September 12th. In compliance with state law, City Council special and regular meetings will be held in a hybrid format with in-person, telephonic, and virtual options for public viewing and participation. With that, calling this meeting to order, and Krista, if you'd like to please call the roll.
Councilmember Soltis.
Here.
Councilmember Porter.
Here.
Councilmember Hartsock. Here. Councilmember Harjahausen.
I am present.
Councilmember Simomo.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Here.
Mayor Wagner.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you, Krista. If everybody could please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for that. First up is approval of the agenda. Regan, do we have any changes tonight?
No changes tonight, Mayor.
Great. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second to approve the agenda. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda has been approved. Next up, we have three proclamations that we would like to give. If everybody could please join me in front of the dais, please. Yeah. It's fun to watch. Okay. So our first proclamation is for Constitution Week, and if Nancy Evans could join us. Welcome. Join us right here in the middle. I have a proclamation that we'd like to read. Whereas in September 17th, 2023 marks the 236th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this remarkable document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which this commemorates the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Covington, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd of 2023 to be Constitution Week in Covington, and urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves. And I'd like to give you this proclamation. And if there's anything that you would like to see or say, sorry.
Supporter of Constitution. I'm from the Lakota chapter of the NSDAR, which is women who are related to pioneer people, going all the way back to the Revolutionary War. So my family on both sides here a very long time. So we might even be related.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you for being here tonight.
Would you like me to get a photo?
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Okay, ready?
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Next up, I would like to invite Jennifer Liggett and any of those from the storehouse that would like to join. Rylan. No.
What keeps us going?
Yes.
We matched. We would have been triplets. Somebody said in the memo.
I didn't get a memo. I would have worn a shirt.
You got a shirt on.
Well, This one. I think I do. Whereas the city of Covington recognizes the importance of adequate nutrition as a basic human right for our residents and neighbors. And whereas the city of Covington supports our local food banks, which provide necessities to improve the quality of life of individuals and families facing food insecurity, to help them thrive and to prevent health issues associated with the lack of proper nourishment. And whereas our food banks, working with the city of Covington, local churches, community groups, and volunteers, distribute food to thousands of Covington residents annually. And whereas to bring awareness to the issue of food insecurity in our community, the Emergency Feeding Program coordinates the annual Mayor's Day of Concern on the third Saturday in September each year. So now therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Covington, do hereby proclaim September 23rd, 2023 as Mayor's Day of Concern for the Hungry in the City of Covington, and strongly urge all residents to donate food or funds to our local food bank, the Storehouse, to nourish those who are hungry. And we will be doing the Mayor's Day of Concern at Safeway and Dollar Tree on Saturday, September 23rd from 9:30 to 3:30. So stop on by. We'll be there. I'd like to give, and this is Jennifer, the Executive Director of our Storehouse. So I'd like to give this proclamation to you. And is there anything you would like to say?
Yes, just thank you, council, for your continued support. And I know he said, bring, your donations or your finances that you can offer, but also volunteer hours is another big one for us. But also we've seen, I've told you, but we've seen a 400% increase in the need just in Covington alone for food security. And we can't food bank our way out of food insecurity. So I appreciate the community coming together, and I thank you for this proclamation. And I look forward to our fun day together, bringing awareness to our community.
And I will be there.
And we're gonna beat our goal. Last year, we hit 1,500 pounds and $1,800. So this year, we're gonna go a little bit more.
We need to make it what we did at the drive-through that one time.
Yeah.
10,000 pounds. And
We can do it.
10,000. We can. Yep,
Yes, thank you
So-
very much.
Jennifer, thank you.
Yeah.
And Rylan, thank you. You're fine.
I'm not the time.
It's okay. I do it all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, council.
Thank you. Next is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Bonnie Wells. Welcome. Thanks for being here tonight. We have a proclamation, whereas in October 1980, we just had this question this morning about that. October 1989, the first Domestic Violence Awareness Month commemorative legislation was passed by Congress, providing key leadership in the effort to reduce domestic violence. And whereas domestic violence affects many in our communities, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced physical violence by a partner. And 1 in 3 teens has experienced some form of abuse in a relationship. As many as 10 million children will witness domestic violence each year. And whereas with continued public awareness programs, increased education on healthy relationships, and more people taking action against domestic violence, we will break the cycle of abuse and provide skills to empower victims and children. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Covington, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the City of Covington, and strongly urge all citizens to take action by installing a purple light in their front porch light fixture to honor the victims and give hope to those still living with abuse. Talk about purple light night.
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to give you this proclamation, Bonnie. Thank you very much for being here tonight to represent this. And if you'd like to say anything.
Yeah, first, just thank you, council, for continuing to recognize the work that's done with domestic violence awareness, and a huge shout out to Beth Porter. She's been such an activist for Purple Light Nights since the pandemic. Purple Light Nights is Saturday, September 30th. And I encourage everybody to come and bring people, just be prepared to walk and celebrate and honor the victims that will be there. Like Mayor Wagner said, 1 in 3 women are affected by domestic violence. The awareness is so crucial to making that go away. That number I think is actually worse since the pandemic. There's just so much more of it not being reported, and it's happening with younger and younger victims, unfortunately. So thank you all. I hope to see everybody at Purple Light Nights. And shine your purple light in October, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our picture. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, that is all of our proclamations.
Oh.
Yes, I did.
Thank you all very much for that, and thank you for those who volunteer in our city, both on our commissions and throughout our city for all these different organizations and for all the causes that we have. Next up is our first of 2 public comment portions of our council meeting. Speakers will state their name, address, and organization. Comments are directed to the city council, not the audience or staff. Comments are not intended for conversation or debate and are limited to no more than 4 minutes per speaker. For attendees participating virtually, click the raise hand button in Zoom. For attendees participating by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand. Once the city grants you permission to speak, press unmute if participating virtually and dial *6 to unmute if participating by phone. Please note to all participants, pursuant to state law RCW 42.17A.555, campaigning for any ballot measure or candidate in City Hall and or during any portion of the city council meeting, including the audience comment portion of the meeting, is prohibited. And with that, I have first signed up is Patty and Tim Campbell. Would you like to address council? Just come up to the podium here.
I have basically my speech and a map to go with it that
Okay,
I wanted to hand to you, if
So-
that's okay.
so you can hand the maps to Krista and she'll make sure we get them over at the,
So,
okay.
yeah, sounds good. Thank you. The map will give you a better picture of what I'm speaking to.
Very good.
Oh,
4 minutes.
ready?
starting. Go ahead.
Okay. My name's Patty Campbell. My address is 20028 Southeast 262nd Street, Covington, Washington, and I'm here representing myself. Council members, I'm here today asking for help slowing down drivers on Southeast 262nd Street, the road that runs east to west in front of our home. About a year ago, it was opened as a connector between 204th Avenue Southeast and 200th Avenue Southeast. 204th is the road that will soon join Kent Kangley to Lake Point Urban Village and Highway 18. And 200th Avenue connects Kent Kangley to Tall Timbers and Maple Hills. We've lived in Covington since 1988. We built our home on 1 acre of land, and the road in front of our home serviced 6 other properties. Basically, it was a dead end. Fast forward 15 years and the acreage to the east of our home was cleared and Addison's Landing was developed, adding approximately 60 homes. Another 15 years went by and 15 acres across the street was cleared for another 90 homes. And sometime between these 2 events, the development of Maple Hills was developed northeast of us, all being accessed by the same roads around us. As you can see, we've adjusted and adapted to many changes in our area. They have not been easy, but understandable and the result of progress, or so the saying goes. So why am I here? The increased traffic seemed doable because the people using Southeast 262nd Street were vested in our community. They were using our street to get to nearby homes. Unfortunately, when 204th Avenue was completed, the wide paved downhill road in front of our home became a cut through to circumvent major roads such as Kent Kangley and connect much larger neighborhoods like Maple Hills, Tall Timbers, and Timber Lane. It's a fun road. If you're heading east to west, it's downhill with a great hump on it, which you can catch air if you go fast enough. And if you're traveling west to east, drivers step on the gas to climb the hill, which creates a lot of noise and speed. Back in January, I reached out to Andrew Johnson, senior planner for the city of Covington, asking about the possibility of getting a speed bump installed on 262nd Street. He was kind enough to send me information from the 2021 Public Works Design and Construction Standards that state speed bumps, humps, and tables are not allowed within the city of Covington. He also forwarded my question to the Public Works Department, and their response was as follows. Quote, in conjunction with Puget Sound Regional Fire, the city has made a policy to not allow speed bumps on city streets within city limits. The reason for restricting speed bumps is primarily due to the slower response times for emergency vehicles. End quote. I next reached out to Puget Sound Fire Battalion Chief Scott Galassi. He assured me that the hump or speed bump on a road such as ours in a residential neighborhood would not produce a slower response time for emergency vehicles. Within a residential area, aid vehicles travel at speeds that would not be negatively impacted. Going.
As long as you hurry up. You have
Which
4
brings
minutes.
me, it's the last paragraph.
Okay.
Which brings me to you. I'm asking for your help getting a hump, speed bump, or something similar installed on Southeast 262nd Street. It seems that now is the time to set the standard that will keep our kids, pets, and neighbors safe, as well as retain some of the quiet feel that drew us to Covington in 1988. I only see the problem growing when 204th is fully extended to Lake Point and Highway 18. We need to do something now. Thank you for your time. I look forward to working with you. And I noticed in your earlier meeting, Mr. Scalabrini stated we're more rural than suburban. And that's what I'm trying to retain in my neighborhood.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the audience wishing to address council? Is there anybody online? Nobody's online. All right, that concludes our first public comment period, and we will have a second opportunity towards the end of our council meeting. And Patty, just let you know, I will give this to the city clerk so that we have this as a record, so that it goes into record, because right now it's not in record. Next up is approval of the consent agenda consisting of items C1 through C10. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor state aye. Any opposed? The consent agenda has been approved. That takes us to new business item number 1, which is to consider an appointment to the Planning Commission. And we have one position available right now to fill. And we did have an interview today. This council wishes to take action to fill position number 2 on the Planning Commission with a term expiring August 31st, 2027.
I move to appoint Kathy Foster to fill position number 2 on the Planning Commission with a term expiring August 31st, 2027.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Kathy Foster to fill position number 2 on the Planning Commission. Beth, would you like to speak to your motion?
Kathy's been an active member of the community for decades. She's very well versed in where Covington started, where we could be. And she has a regional lens as well, being on several regional boards. think that will help bring perspective to the planning commission. And that's that.
Debbie, would you like to speak to your second?
Thank you. I'm excited that Kathy not only has served for so many years, but wants to continue to serve. I think we're honored to have people of her caliber that want to come in and not only serve on one commission, but two. And as Beth said, she's so well connected within the community. She understands what the concerns and the needs are, and she also knows where we're trying to go with our growth while trying to manage the growth. She wants to help in that process and help us look to the future.
Thank you, Debbie. Is there anybody else wishing to speak for or against the motion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Kathy Foster to fill position number 2 on the planning commission with a term expiring August 31st, 2027. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, she left. Congratulations, Kathy. That concludes our new business for tonight. And looking at our future agenda, our next council meeting is September 26th, which we do have interviews starting early that night with a joint session with the Arts Commission. And does council have anything that they would like to see on a future agenda? All right, with that, we will move into council staff comments, and we will start with Dawn.
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. Selena.
Council, I just want to thank you for the conversation we had tonight with the planning commission. That was really helpful. And I really enjoy when we get the commission and the council together. We'll be doing it a lot as we progress through the comp plan update. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Selena. Mark.
There's no executive session tonight, and I have no further comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Regan.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Carla and other staff for the great job they've done with our social media marketing. This last week, we were awarded, the city of Covington was awarded our first place Savvy Award. This is given out by a city and county National Communications and Marketing Association. So the category that we won was the best use of social media for populations under 150,000. So that's a really great award and a real great shout out to Carla and our marketing communication strategy in this city. So just wanted to make sure council was aware of that and throw some props. Thank you.
Thank you, Regan. Krista.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Krista. Christina.
It's good to see everyone after a long time. Seems like forever not seeing you. What an amazing meeting. Love the collaboration and the collaborative minds that when joined together, we truly watch Covington grow towards greatness. I'm hoping everybody in the next great 2 weeks, and I'll see those that are there at Mayor's Day of Concern. I'm excited to be there.
Thanks, Christina. Beth.
I had the opportunity along with Joe to attend the Sound Cities Association networking dinner last week. The keynote speaker was Peter Tomazawa, who is on the committee for the Seattle FIFA World Cup 2026. It will be here in Seattle, in the area. And he had some interesting tidbits of information about what they project. 400,000 to 750,000 unique visitors during that 6-week period where the games will be going on. And likely hotels will be booked from border to border. Don't know if we can get one in at Lake Point between now and then, because it would be really nice to earn some income on that. Some of the things that were brought up, concerns were brought up, is obviously traffic, transportation, what's going to happen. And they do have somebody that was on, I don't know her last name, April. She was on one of the King County executives offices, is going to be heading up the transportation piece. Very open to hearing suggestions from communities. Yeah, obviously the idea there was to promote how this could help our economy. We also know that with that can be impacts to the environment and roads and our national park. And so I think it's important that we know that it's coming, that we prepare for it as best we can. And I think it's going to be a conversation, and for that 6 weeks, it'll be a different region. They talked about maybe having a little, maybe a passport book where people can go to Spokane and check out something there, and maybe head down to a different part of the state, trying to encourage people to see our state. So,
Yeah.
right, wrong, or indifferent. I mean, I think it's going to be great for the economy, but we just have to know that it's going to have some impacts, and we probably need to be prepared for that and advocate so that we are not negatively impacted.
Thank you, Beth.
Mhm.
Sean?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just real quick, that reminds me of kind of some of the pre-conversations the region had regarding the Olympics in 2010 in Vancouver. They started to talk, how are we going to address those, the impacts of all the visitors coming? So there may be some lessons learned there that that they use to help accommodate for those visitors too. Last Wednesday, we had the Puget Sound Regional Fire Authority meeting. A couple things that came out of that. Tequila, as you all know, approved the annexation. So the Fire Authority will begin incorporating Tequila into their service area. And one of the things that means is there'll be 3 new members on the Regional Fire Authority from Tequila. So the major ramification is that we'll no longer be able to meet here in the Covington firehouse because the dais is not big enough. So we'll probably have to move down to Kent starting in January, but just wanted to give you a heads up on that. The other thing they talked about, and I want to get more information on it, but they're talking about the reauthorization of the fire impact fees. And one of the things the city is going to have authority over is whether to tax ADUs, accessory dwelling units, for part of that fire impact fee. We will be the ones that determine whether that tax gets added to those or not. And I think given the conversation we just had, there could be some impacts on equity there, but just giving you a heads up that, and I will again get more clarity on what exactly it is. But they said that the cities themselves will determine whether those accessory dwelling units get taxed. And one of the things I thought was interesting is they said we all have an image of what that could be. And it's usually a small building behind the house, but some of them actually are the main building themselves. And the people that live there actually live in the small building in the back. So the ADU is actually the house and they live in the small building in the back. So I'm not saying I know what the right answer is, but it's going to be an interesting issue that's going to come to us shortly. So that's it.
Thanks, Sean. Debbie?
Thank you. Last week, Sean and I had the opportunity to go up to Seattle to the King County Parks grant festivities. So we learned that $30 million has been allocated to King County for the use in building or revising parks, and for building or revising, updating pools. And it was interesting. We heard a lot about the importance of pools in communities, and looking at that from the equity lens, how that really brings people together. And they gave some history of disparities in equity in the years past about people not being able to, cultures and races not being able to utilize public pools, and where we've come in our country since then. So it really encouraged us, to learn that we won that $2.5 million grant thanks to Ethan and his team, and that's going towards the planning of a new pool in our community. So I think it just reinforced what I heard that day from the public officials. It reinforced the necessity and the importance of having a pool in your community. And then I also just wanted to say, in speaking with the director of King County Parks, he made the comment that he really enjoys working with Ethan. I wanted to let Ethan know that he's good in their eyes. So thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Jennifer?
Ethan's not here to hear it, is he? It has been a while. When Christina said that, I mean, I know you had some trips and whatnot, but I was thinking back like when last time we met. So we went, my daughter and I went to Kids Fest. It was amazing. They get better and better if that's possible. It's a really well-run event, and having it over at CCP is much better than back when it was in the Kohl's parking lot. Also doing the Constitution Proclamation reminded me of Fran. Yeah, it was just like, it used to be Fran that accepted that proclamation. And so anyway, I was thinking of her, and also wanted to thank Ms. Campbell for the public comment and the very nice map. That is very helpful for visual people like myself, and like 262nd, where is that, right? So that was really helpful. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Jennifer. Joe?
So thinking back to, like Jennifer said, it's been a minute, but I had no PIC meeting in August, and I got an email. When did I ask you if you could go to PIC for me this week? Sometime last week. A couple hours later, found out PIC this month is canceled as well. So there is no PIC meeting for me tomorrow night. So if you have concerns for SCA, I would, we'll have to put them off till next month when I'm have all that. Other than that, I'm just very happy that we're meeting again. Yeah, it's good to see you all. I'm happy the meeting we had prior was good. I think there was a lot of information that was passed out to us. I think there's a lot of digestion that needs to happen so we can understand it and make sure that we're going through that draft and getting it spot on. So King County doesn't tell us. That's very nice. Do it again. And with that, yeah, let's just keep having fun, and remember, Kentwood and Kent Lake both play at French Field on Friday nights and Thursday nights. Let's go support our youth.
Thank you, Joe. This morning, we had at the next mayor's meetup, and Christina and Debbie joined me over at Nikki's. We did it the first time we've done a morning one, and we had 10 people, 12 people there that showed up. Jaime was very nice and generous to allow us to use Nikki's, and we had some great conversations and discussions, and had some people show up that normally would not be able to show up for an evening event. So it's nice to be able to switch it, and we'll keep doing that on a regular basis, doing a morning meeting and just having discussion and taking us out into the community so that they have chances to meet with us. Also, I had the pleasure of meeting with other mayors of South King County today. We actually met in person for the first time in 3 years. Normally it's been on Zoom. And so we met out at Lake Wilderness Lodge, and the King County Sheriff's Special Operations Air Patrol showed up to talk about their aging fleet. And I think the newest helicopter they have is from 2015. And the oldest one they have is from 1997, I believe. So, and that's their backup. So they are working with the state and with our federal constituent or delegates to get funding, because we need 1 new air patrol and 2 new Huey. So it's a Bell helicopter for air patrol and Hueys for search and rescue. And the thing I learned is that King County covers the entire state for air patrol and search and rescue. So when they needed help down at St. Helens, King County was down there.
You get reimbursed for that?
Nope. King County does not ask to be reimbursed. So it's out to help. When people got hurt out in the snow, they went and rescued them. So it's getting out there and then what's new now is that the helicopters will have a bucket on them so that they can fight forest fires as well. But they will be only first responders. So like if something happened here in Covington, they could go and scoop water and drop it while they're waiting for the state fire crews to come in. And once the state gets there, then they back out, because they're not the professionals do it. They're just to help start that. And then again, Mayor, so with that, we're going to get a letter going so that all the mayors can sign it, and I will sign that on behalf of Covington to allow us to go to federal to get federal funding for King County, and all the mayors of King County will be signing on to that. Then a reminder, Mayor's Day of Concern is September 23rd, and then the Purple Light Nights at Don Henning Roundabout over by Fred Meyer will be on September 30th. And with that, we'll move into our second public comment period. Speakers will state their name, address, and organization. Comments are directed to the city council, not the audience or staff. Comments are not intended for conversation or debate and are limited to no more than 4 minutes per speaker. For attendees participating virtually, click the raise hand button in Zoom. For attendees participating by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand. Once the city grants you permission to speak, press unmute if participating virtually, and dial *6 to unmute if participating by phone. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to address council tonight? And there is nobody else online. With that, this meeting is adjourned at 7:41. Thank you all very much.